Okay, I think I'm live. If anyone's here, hello. I can't tell here where my comments are going, but let's just get this show on the road. I am going to show you how to make this easy shopper tote in 30 minutes. I have a free PDF. Janome has it on their website if you want to download that and go ahead and cut out your pieces. The exterior I'm using is this canvas material. It's got some body to it. It's not super thick, but it's not as light as quilting cotton. So I didn't feel like I needed to interface this. Hi Lisa. Hi, thanks for being here. Hi Renee. So I am going to put my pieces right sides together. This is an 18 by 18 inch square. Super simple. We're going to keep everything really, really simple. And I'm just going to sew the sides and the bottom all the way across, okay? Hi Betty. Thanks for being here. Hi Teresa. From North Dakota. I bet you're cold right now. Well, I'm in Wisconsin. We're about the same, probably. I am making my lining with muslin. Just, the cheap muslin material you can get anywhere, just because I like a lighter lining, because then I can see what's going on. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew this. I'm going down the sides and the bottom, and I'm using a 2.7 stitch length on my sewing machine. What I like about the Janome is the Skyline. This is the Skyline S7, by the way. And I can adjust my speed really easily right here. So just using my foot as a guide. On the easy parts I go fast, and on the harder parts I'll slow down. So we're just going to sew this down here. I'm going to stop with my needle down and lift my foot, turn, and sew across the bottom. And I'm just using the foot as my guide for the seam allowance. It's about a ½ inch. As long as you stay consistent, you're good to go there. Hi Eileen. Another tip, a lot of time I'll construct the lining first just to make sure there's no hiccups. If I run into any problems, people aren't going to see the lining. It's not as big of a deal. Especially if there's like zipper pockets. I'll practice and do all that first on the lining. And a lot of times I will back stitch this or lock stitch, whatever you want to call that. And the lining is sewn. We're just going to set that aside a second, and we will do the exterior. Let me scroll this down. I don't want to miss anybody. Oh my gosh! Hi Jennifer, Northern Georgia. Oh, how amazing. My sister used to live in Georgia. Love it. And East Tennessee, Mary Jo. Hi! I have a bunch of aunts, cousins, uncles in Tennessee. Outside Nashville, Gallatin, if you know it. Carolyn, hello. Hello, two Carolyns. Oh, from Canada too. Awesome. Hi guys. I'm so excited to show you this super simple tote. It's so easy. My head's in the way, but there it is. Super simple. I like carrying handmade totes into stores because then I don't have to take home those plastic bags. And the plastic bags and paper bags nowadays, they're not the same as they were 10, 20 years ago. They break. So this is a good stash buster. Doesn't matter if it's ugly fabric, put it to use. Although, I don't think any fabric is really ugly. You could do a patchwork too if you don't have enough fabric. Just patchwork and cut out your 18-inch squares. You can interface if you want to. You do what you want to do. I'm just going to show you purely fabric, no interfacing, in case you're out or you don't want to go to the store to get it or whatever reason. Well, I didn't backstitch there, but no worries. It'll be fine. Now we're already on to making boxed corners. I mean, truly. I hope I can make this last 30 minutes, honestly. I'm going to pin this up here and show you how I do boxed corners. I'm going to use a pen. You'll use a marking tool that erases. Oops. All right, so make sure this is your top. I've done that before, that's why I mentioned that. And we're doing 3-inch squares in the bottom. And you're going to measure from the outer edge, not the seam line. So, I'm going to do this up here because I wish I had a top view camera right here. I mean, I do, but not for live. So I'm going to draw these on here. I'm going to show you, well, if my pen worked, I would. There we go. 3-inch and 3-inch. 3-inch from the side, 3-inch from the bottom. And then I'm going to do it on this side. And I usually measure this twice because I have mismeasured. Has anyone else done that ever? Even though you've made 5 million things? Okay. Just say yes, make me feel better. So there are my squares. Those will be boxed corners. I'm going to cut them out. Now, I'm going to, you don't have to do this, but oftentimes when I'm making something simple like this, I'll pin the lining and the exterior exactly together and cut the boxed corners at the same time. So I'm going to put a pin in here. And I use super sharp scissors or my rotary cutter so that nothing is shifting. Hi Doris, hi Carla. Central Illinois. I grew up in Freeport, Illinois. So I still feel like I'm an Illinoisan. And my husband always says Illinois to drive me crazy. Okay, so there's one corner. And here's the other corner. So now the totes look like this. I'll unpin. Here's the exterior, here's the lining. Let's sew the lining first. So I'm going to take, this is the part when I first started sewing, I could not understand what people were trying to say to me, but it's this. Kind of pinch those apart, bring your side seam down to meet your bottom seam. Flatten everything out nice and straight like this. And then we're going to nest our seams. So one seam goes this way and one seam goes that way. And then we're going to sew right across here. And I do it twice, or I'll do a straight stitch and then a zigzag inside, just because that seam gets a lot of pressure. Totally fine to, oops, I hit the wrong button. Totally fine to pin this also. I just feel like I can hold it in place just fine without fiddling with a pin. I'm going to do the same to this side, flattening it, bringing those edges to meet, and the seams nesting. They're going to go like this. And again, I'm just using my foot as my seam allowance. This is the lining, remember. So on the lining, oftentimes I just do one stitch, one seam. Now on the exterior, I'm definitely going to take 2 bites. But look, your tote, the body is constructed here. Really cool. It's so fast. And this is also fun to teach kids because it's quick. You know, they can see their project is done in less than an hour. It doesn't take a lot of patience. I'm going to slow this down just a bit. Now over that middle seam, I'm going to lock stitch again. Just because this is the outside and I want it to be really strong. Okay, there's that corner. Hi Diana, hi Doris. Oh, Nova Scotia. Hi Carla from Maryland, Suzanne. Denmark, Linda, oh my gosh. How amazing. My kids, I'm homeschooling right now, and we were just studying Denmark, and we're just so impressed. Okay, so let's do a back stitch again. And then now I'm hitting that side seam, so I'm going to back stitch again. And now I'm almost to the end, and I'm going to back stitch again. Now, if I knew I was going to use this for a grocery tote and, you know, carry a million soup cans in here, I would go through that again, just for safekeeping. But let's carry on, because I'm excited. We have a lining body and an exterior body. And you can do fabric straps, but I'm actually going to use sewable leather straps. I love it when I can kind of speed up a project, but not make it look like I speeded it up. You know what I mean? So straps or webbing, I love using that. So I'm just going to take this strap and fold it in half, and then I'm going to cut it. And now I've got 2 equal lengths. Well, almost equal. Let me measure. There. Sometimes there's a curl in there. Just make sure they're exactly the same length. I've done that before where one is a 1/4 inch longer. Okay, so you can attach your straps now if you want all of it hidden. But I like seeing the stitching. I just think it's pretty cool. So I'm going to add the straps at the very end. And you can hardly see the stitching on the inside because I'm using a matching bobbin thread to that muslin. So to me, this is not a problem at all. I like it. I like seeing that this is crafted. But if you wanted to add your straps now, you could do that. You would just turn your exterior right side out and you can attach them now if you don't want to see any stitching. But let's do it my way since I'm in charge. It's so rare. Oh, hi Lynn from Denver. Hi Jane from Cambridge. My favorite place, Cambridge, UK. I used to live about 20 minutes outside Cambridge in a little village called Chippenham. Teeny tiny village. And then we moved to Ely. So I know that you know what I'm talking about. I love, love, love the UK and the people. Okay, so I was chatting and forgot to tell you what I did. We are putting the exterior bag inside of the lining, right sides together. So the right side of your lining is facing the right side of the exterior. I always match my side seams first and nest them and do a pin. I'm going to travel to the other side, match those side seams, nest them, and pop a pin in there. And then I make sure everything else is lining up. If at this point you've got too much fabric, you may have to take a bigger seam allowance on the side seam, at least a few inches down. make it work. Not a big deal. That happened to me a lot when I was my first year of sewing. I would constantly have to kind of adjust my seam allowances to make my bags fit. So, no shame in that game if you have to do that. The top edge is matched. We are going to sew all the way around the top edge. I know a lot of patterns say leave an opening there, but I don't like to do that. I like to come in and unpick a little bit of the bottom seam and then pull the bag through there, because then this is already trained and will fold under more naturally and give a cleaner finish. So, oh, hi Carla, love your jacket. Oh, I made this. It was a quilt I had that I didn't really like. That happens a lot to me. And so I decided, I'm going to cut it up, and I just made this coat. And I think this is the Dottie Angel pattern. I blogged about it. That link is at sewhungryhippie.com. It's right on the homepage, quilt coat trials, because I've made, I don't know, 4 or 5 quilt coats. They're fun. For me, it's more of a way to use a quilt that maybe I'm not in love with. I wear this all the time, and I serged my seams. Okay, so I'm sewing all around the top. I'm making sure that I'm not inadvertently sewing the opposite side of the bag. Just that one layer of the lining and exterior at a time. I only mention things that have happened to me, so I don't want you to think it's only you. It's not. Make sure I don't do that on my... We're almost there. Okay, we're all the way back to the beginning. I'm going to take my pins out so I don't hurt myself here. Hi Christine, Newfoundland, Canada. I love Canada, it's so pretty. Hi Karen from Australia. Oh my gosh, I feel so honored. Now, I like using a scalpel. They sell these now, for sewing purposes. I just love it because oftentimes I have to do this to see my stitches nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And I can slip that scalpel in a couple of stitches, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 stitches. So easy. And then there's my opening to bird the bag. So I did that in the bottom of the lining. Oof. So it's not that big of a hole, but it's big enough. These layers, they're not interfaced, so it's really easy to bring the bag right side out again. So I'm just going to do this. You can make that hole bigger if you need it. It's the bottom of the lining, so nobody is ever going to see that. I take my fingers in and push out all the corners really nicely and admire the matched seams. It's the small things in life. Okay, and now this hole, see, it naturally is folding in and being perfect. I'm just going to iron that really quick, press it. And it's ready to sew closed. We're almost there, can you believe it? So I've just trimmed my threads here. Hi, I'm trying to read and do this, you guys. Yes, Diane, I made my jacket. It's the Dottie Angel jacket car coat pattern, which is super, super simple. And it's just a quilt that I cut up that I didn't love. I'm a big fan of make as much as you can, whenever you can, wherever you can, because half of it you won't like or use, so cut it up and do something else with it. That is the name of the game. Just keep making. We're meant to make stuff. Okay, so the tote body is done, and it takes a little bit of patience to make sure that that top edge is pulled out and really sitting really nicely. A lot of times I'll see people not get the top edge correct because they didn't do this part. Like, wiggle it. Sometimes, I know COVID, how gross, but sometimes I just have to give it a little coaxing like this. And then I'm going to iron that. I like a top stitch edge. I think it just sits more nicely. It's pretty and it's not hard to do, so I figure, well, I'm just going to do it. And there's my top edge. We're almost to the point of attaching our straps and we're done. I mean, seriously, so fast. Ooh, I've got 8 minutes. This is probably the most I've talked consecutively in a year. Okay, so I'm just doing a top stitch. I left mine at 2.7. Sometimes I make it longer, like a 3 or 3.5. Sometimes I'll put in a contrast thread, like a pink or something. Just whatever you want to do. When I make a bundle of these shopping totes, a lot of times I'll use things that have been sitting there forever. For instance, I don't use orange thread a lot, so I'll put orange thread in my bobbin. It's not really seen, and then it gets used. Okay. So now we're going to attach the straps. My jacket is distracting, Carla. Well, look, and take it off. No. Yes, made the quilt coat, serged the seams. It's the Dottie Angel car coat, and it's just a quilt I cut up that I didn't love. I can put a link to that in my quilt coat trials when I'm done with this. I'll throw a link in there if you want to know more about it. Or I've posted about it a couple times on Instagram too. I'm at So Hungry Hippie. Oh my gosh, did I never say that? Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm also known as So Hungry Hippie. My husband named my business because at the time I had just gotten out of the Army and he was still in the Air Force, and he's like, great, I'm married to a hippie. And I'm always hungry, so why not? Anywho, here we go. I'm going to measure in from the side edge, and I just use a ruler. And I have found that my sweet spot is 4 inches in from that side edge. So I'm going to place one strap there, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the bottom of the strap will be 2 inches down. And all this is in the PDF, the free PDF pattern that I'm providing. All these measurements are in there, so don't be afraid to download that and print it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the part that oftentimes is my nemesis because you got to get it straight on both sides of the bag. So I'm going to use clips. Do you have these Wonder Clips? I love them. I buy the bigger ones. I just love them. I use them all the time. I'm going to pin this other side so that you can see. And 2 inches down. The first strap is easy. The second strap, we have to make sure that we're putting it on in the same way, in the same spots. So there we are. Now I'm just going to quickly sew these down because I'm running short on time. But in the example, you can see how I do an X. I'm not using anything special. Same old Gutermann thread, same foot, same needle. I have these straps made on purpose because I didn't want to have to use hardware. I wanted a sewable strap that looks good. Okay. So there we are. There's that side and it's on. Later I'm going to go back in and do the X because I like the X. I'm going to do the other side. Here we go. And I just turn this, just fold up the bag and move it around the machine. And one side is on. Yay! We're just going to repeat that for the other side. So make sure your bag is sitting flat. I always pinch those side seams. Hi Marlene from France. Wow. Marlene, maybe? Oh, wow. How's everybody doing on this Friday? I'm so glad it's Friday. I always look forward to maybe a Netflix, maybe some popcorn. I don't know. I'm just glad. This has been a tough week. There's the other side. I'm going to sew that down really quickly. I think I'll just go across this a couple times. That automatic thread cutter is just so fancy. When I learned, I had an all manual machine, and I'm not knocking manual, but when you upgrade to automatic this and automatic that, I don't know, it just still feels fancy. I'm going to go back. My other one also had no speed control, so I joke that that's why I sew fast now. It's because I didn't have a choice. Okay, so I will go back and trim those threads and sew down my straps better on the second side later. But as you can see, it's a shopping tote with boxed bottoms, so it's going to sit on the counter or in that self-checkout line just fine. And these make good gifts. I mean, who doesn't need a bag now and then? Sometimes I leave one in my car just to have in case I run into the library or whatever. So I hope that I showed you everything and didn't leave anything out. Download the pattern. It's on the Janome website. Yeah, this is the Janome Skyline S7, and it does have some really pretty embroidery stitches also, but it can sew just about everything. There's more feet in here, and if you want to see more projects, you can check out my website, sewhungryhippie.com, or my YouTube channel, because I'm always using this now. Yeah, watch the replay later. No big deal. Everyone has their own schedule. Gail, you have the S7 too. That's cool. Yeah, it's a good machine. I love the iron. So this is the Oliso iron, and it's pink. I have a fetish with pink. I love it. So when I saw that iron, it's amazing, and I had to have it. I have it on the setting where it automatically raises because I don't know. It's just convenient. I love it. I've been using Oliso for about 6 years now. I really like it. And anything else? I know my time is up. I'm 2 minutes over, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the live video, but I'm always available if you have more questions. If you want to know more about the Janome machine that I used, janome.com is where you go. Find a local dealer and test it out, because I highly recommend it. And please say hi. I'm So Hungry Hippie on IG. I'd love to meet you. This community is the best. So, much love to you all, and I will see you soon.